How do you keep your family healthy this season when it feels like everyone around you is getting sick? I use Sambucol. It's drug-free and scientifically tested to help support your immunity. Sambucol has the power of black elderberry in every purple bottle. It comes in tablets, syrup, chewables, or my kids' favorite, the great-tasting gummies. So this cold and flu season, support your family's immunity with Sambucol Black Elderberry. It's the only one I trust for my family. And best of all, my kids love it too.
Oh, my God.
Robert
yeah, so you guys didn't notice, right?
No. If you could picture Simon Cowell looking at Susan Boyle on American Idol, that was me looking at you listening to this.
Wow,
right?
Really amazing.
Yeah.
No, we knew, of course, about the 160 starring roles, everything from Hill Street Blues, and I used to love Wise Guy with Ken Wall. I love that show. To all the great movies you've done, to your very...
you had a TV series, Profiler.
Yes.
James Bonham, considered one of the top Bond villains of all time.
Yes.
Of all time.
Yep. Yes.
Die Hard.
Yeah.
Goonies is a cult classic.
A cult classic, sure.
Expendables 3. I got a film December 13th called Mobtown, David Arquette and myself.
Oh, nice.
Jennifer Esposito coming out. So.
Yes, well, we are all familiar with all that stuff, but had no idea you can sing like that.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Quincy Jones brought 17 people to my show and then left, I think, one of the most humbling comments I've ever gotten from someone of that stature on his Facebook page. That just was, I don't want to be, I would love to read it, but I won't because it's too egotistic.
That is high praise. That's very high praise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good Lord. And justifiable. I can't believe what I just heard. The way you held that note for that high for that long. Incredible. Robert Davi, the actor in studio on the
Great
Bernie.
to see you, Bernie. Big fan, Sid.
Thank you.
I'm glad Sid came over to the light side. I'm a bigger fan now because of that.
You are, right? I mean, listen, if I would have just picked up, and I do read Breitbart. In fact, Breitbart interviewed me this summer. They did a very nice job. If I would have seen this in June of 2015, Davi, Donald Trump, a leader who paints in the bold colors of red, white, and blue. If I would have read this in June of 2015, even before he came down the escalator.
No, this was right the day he came down. I wrote this that night. The next day it ran.
Then I would have voted for him instead of Hillary Clinton because you nailed it, Robert. You nailed it.
You know, that particular day, and you've been there yourself, that very day I watched Trump make this speech, and at the end of the speech I left here, this radio station, and went up to Fox, and I was on Outnumbered that very day. And everybody was blown away by Trump's particular speech. Go ahead, Robert.
Yes. No. I remember that. I remember that you were excited about it, from what I remember.
Yeah. So you and I were on the Trump
early
train
on.
Very early, yes.
Yeah, we were 2015ers, they call them.
Yeah, that's right. and look, we've been validated. We've been
absolutely.
We've been vindicated, validated. All these things. I mean, the naysayers. Even my partner Greg Gutfeld didn't like Donald Trump for a long time.
Me and Greg had a good friendship, and we broke up because of that.
Right.
Because I used to criticize on Twitter Dana Perino sometimes because they were too harsh on Trump. I says, you guys, because they were all into Cruz and into Bush and into establishment.
Yes.
And I says, you're missing the whole point of everything. And we lost a friendship because of...
Really?
Yeah.
But he likes Trump now. Maybe
he likes Trump now, but I was harsh. I was harsh. I was calling it out.
Listen, I would go on his show, on his Saturday show, and I would be the only Trump supporter there during the campaign. It was very awkward. So I remember those days, but he did come around, and now he's brilliant.
Brilliant.
He's great.
No, he's always been brilliant. And I did 1,000 red eyes, and then all of a sudden, it was like
yeah.
Not 1,000, but I did a bunch of red eyes.
Right.
Yeah. But it's unusual. I mean, especially, I hear from what I hear. And last night I was watching. I did an event with Terrence Williams. In the secret room here, we call it the Broadway, Deplorables on Broadway.
Yeah. He's the black veterans. Actor that came out as conservative.
Comedian. Yeah. So anyway, I got home late and I'm watching the thing. Oh no, I checked my Twitter, and it's like, who was it? Joe DeGeneva
and Victoria Tensing.
Yeah, they came out yesterday. It's going to be the most shocking in the history of America, the biggest scandal. What's going to happen when the Inspector General comes out with his report.
Right. Him and also the Attorney General Durham. Right. On the origins of the Mueller hoax.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yes,
I can't wait.
I know.
Because we've been sold out, as you guys know now. We've been sold out by the left and the right. I wrote about it many times on Breitbart that I said the GOP was brain dead. They're brain dead. The GOP is basically brain dead.
They were until Donald Trump came along. Breathed some life into them.
Yeah, but they're still brain dead. They should be fighting every day
yes.
this stupid Congress with this impeachment crap. Let's be honest. It's nuts.
They should be yelling and screaming. Like we always said O.J. should have been yelling and screaming. I didn't do it, rather than just kind of stand there kind of looking subdued. The very end of this column that you wrote in 2015, the last sentence, you said you knew that Donald Trump could throw a punch.
Knockout punch.
Right. Now it's just time to see what type of chin he's got, right?
Yeah, I put it a little differently.
Yeah, how'd you put it exactly?
I said, because I'm very literary here with my writing, I said...
Don't mess with Davi's writing.
We know that Donald Trump has a knockout punch. I know that Donald Trump has the question is how hard is his chin? That was my only question. And in the article, if you read the first paragraph, because it says it right here. Ready? Donald Trump could be the presidential candidate who finally provides America with the message most grassroots conservatives have been waiting to hear. The common-sense populist message of the Donald, while not as poetic as that of Ronald Reagan, goes right to the gut of an American population that has been ripping its hair out while watching the destruction of our republic from within. I have in my lifetime, not in my lifetime, seen such a disparaging portrait of America as we see today, and it will take a leader who understands how to build, not just govern. We've had years of tired blood of political elites who've dismantled American individualism, and it goes on and on and on.
Great.
That's the day he announced.
Well done.
Thank you.
The day he announced. I mean, that's not a bandwagon jumper right there.
No,
That's a guy's in on the ground floor.
And every time they said he was out, I wrote another article saying why he should be in. I called the evangelicals. I said, you need somebody, a fighter. I mean, when Cruz was against him, Mark Levin, who hated him, I came hard after those guys.
Yes, that's
I came hard after those guys.
They were all Cruz guys, you're right.
They were all Cruz
Come on
or
in,
the
Heshy.
Rubio guys.
Yeah.
The rabbi's here.
There he is, Heshy Orgenbaum.
How are you, Rabbi?
The great Heshy Orgenbaum. 6 days before Pink Runway, our big event coming up on Wednesday night.
A big event.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this
I can't be here. I got to leave Monday.
Back in California.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if you found out that you were doing Die Hard, right? And want to make Trump president back then, right?
Right.
So going back like 20-something years ago, and you find out that Bruce Willis hates Donald Trump, which he probably does now anyway. How would that be on the set? You seem like you're enveloped in this.
Can I give you a more recent?
Yes, I'd love this.
All right.
Yes.
I'm a very interesting conservative in terms of I have, independent thought on a lot of things. One is the environment. I believe that there is climate change. Now, is man causing it? Climate change has been going on for billions of years. Right. Yeah. There is a climate change. Back and forth. So I support a lot of it. And since the 80s, I want clean ocean and clean air like everybody else does.
Right.
And I was honored enough to be singing for Prince Albert's Oceans Foundation in Monaco.
Wow.
Recently. And we raised $22 million for that. And a lot of people, of course, were not of the same political ideology of myself.
Yeah.
A lot of stars that were on the thing. And then after that, Hollywood for Science in Los Angeles, they were honoring Barbra Streisand and Giselle Bundchen, and I was asked to sing at that event, which I did. Now, here I am. I'm in the belly of the beast.
Yes, yeah.
Now, it's no secret that I am a conservative. I'm very outspoken. So that kind of could be there was some kind of kickback on that people didn't want me to kind of, do it. And I did sing, and I respected her, and I respected the event, of course. But I've been in the belly of the beast. Look, no, I'll go right into it.
Did she applaud?
Oh, yeah. She said, you're a terrific singer.
Really?
Yeah. Funny part about it, my musical director, Randy Waldman, has been her musical director for over 30 years.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes. And Randy, we did an event at Trump Doral a month ago. Randy goes, I'll play music for anyone who listens. I'm not a politician. I says, that's the spirit, Randy, because my drummer wouldn't play.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah, my drummer wouldn't go.
Oh, my God. So, listen, Robert Davi, you're going to be at a jazz club coming up here.
Yes.
When?
January 25th at Birdland, the Birdland Theater. So put it in your calendars. I need you guys. I want New York support. I'll be doing 2 shows, 7 and 9:45.
You'll be back between then and now. So
I don't know. I have a tour in Europe. December 2nd, I go to Sweden.
You can call in and promote it if you want to. But
I would love to. Before I come in that week, yeah.
Okay, very good. But
listen,
speaking of Hollywood and Trump and all this stuff, the guy we're living in times of peace and prosperity. Like unprecedented. Yeah. Incredible. He just took out Baghdadi. The economic numbers came out on Friday. Again, historic, especially for blacks and others, everybody. And yet, they still can't get over it. Even this, I was just talking about it earlier. Sean Spicer, he's affiliated with Trump for 6 months or whatever. and they're losing their minds over it. But it's great to see them lose their minds as he succeeds.
Isn't it funny that they hate the popular vote now?
Yeah, right. They hate it.
You know what I mean? All of a sudden, it's about the popular vote, and they hate the electoral college.
Right.
Exactly. Now, because he's winning on popular vote, they didn't like it.
Well, listen, do me a favor. Do us a favor, I should say. Can you stick around one more segment?
I'd love to.
But, people who stay 2 segments are really good. Like, we never keep people for 2 segments. That's really good. So
really?
Let me
well, you better, for God's sake. I did my first film with Sinatra. You kidding me?
That's it. You went for your second segment.
1977.
You can stay till 11 o'clock if you want.
Right. We're going to go right from Robert Davi, by the way, to Bill O'Reilly. That's the next 35 minutes here
he's
on this
coming
show.
on next one?
He'll be on right after you.
Bill O'Reilly.
Robert Davi, Bill O'Reilly. Keep it right here with Bernie and Sid. They rewrote this song for me. They said the record shows I did some blow, but
yeah.
So
I heard that about you. God bless you.
Well, you know everything about
God
me.
bless you that you came back from that. It's difficult. It's very difficult. I had family members that had addiction and hard stuff. They came back from it. So God bless you, man.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you. I appreciate
a lot
that.
of courage, and it's everyday courage.
Thank you.
No doubt. Robert Davi again in studio with Bernie and Sid, and there's a picture he's showing us on his phone with Frank Sinatra.
Oh, let me see that.
Wow. With old Blue Eyes himself.
Look at that.
And the first movie you did.
1977, we did a film here in New York called Contract on Cherry Street. I have the best stories, Sinatra stories.
Let's hear it.
Couple of them about his love for the Jewish people and for Israel.
Right.
But before that, I used to work at a place called Fiorello's across from Lincoln Center. Remember that place,
Yes.
Fiorello's?
Yes.
All right, Fiorello's. I was a waiter, making my nut, being able to pay for my acting class, my singing classes with Dan Farrow from Juilliard, all of that, and my apartment, and, a little fun on the side. I went in one night, and the general manager says, you didn't turn in all your checks. I go, yeah, I did. I'm very meticulous. He says, no, check your drawer. You have to have a drawer with a thing. If you're a waiter, with a key. I go in the drawer. It's a check. It's not even my handwriting, blah, 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 blah. I bring it to him. I go, this is not me. He goes, I got to let you go. I go, what do you mean? I says, I'm a lefty. That's not my check. He said, I got to let you go. I says, I was shocked. I didn't know at that moment I had to say, what's it going to cost to keep my job? I didn't know that because I was making big tips. Right. And the word got out I was making a great I was supposed to say, here's your cut, Frank. His name was Frank, the guy. I forget his last name. Yeah. All right. Made me very hungry. So Cherry Street comes along to New York. My agent says it's all cast. I, on a whim, say, I'm going to go up to Columbia Pictures. He goes, what do you got to lose? I go up there. I wind up getting the part, okay? $3,500 a week for 3 months, from a waiter's job to that.
That's good money, yeah.
With Sinatra. And then, because he produced the film, Columbia Pictures. So anyway, I tell this story to Harry Guardino, who was in the film. We're filming that summer. Great actor, Harry Guardino, funniest man alive. So I do this story, I tell Harry, about 4 or 5 weeks later, my trailer door, a little two-banger. He goes, come on, the old man wants to take us to dinner. I says, oh, okay. And I was friends with Frank at the time. So we go into the car. Martin Gables, who was married to Arlene Francis, Jilly Rizzo, another gentleman who ran the restaurants in New York City, Frank Sinatra, myself, and Harry. We drive uptown, because we were shooting downtown, drive uptown, make a U-turn in front of Fiorello's. The car stops. I look at Harry Guardino. He's smiling like you are, Sid. Yeah. I look at Frank. He gives me a smile with a nod. He goes, let's go have something to eat. I walk into the restaurant with these guys. People were falling over themselves. Trays were dropping. Bottles of wine were hitting the wall. Yeah. The general manager was there. Literally, his chin, when you say hit the floor, he did, because the guy that I was with knew this guy. And he knew this. I mean, it was the best up-and-comers.
That is great.
Hey, actor Robert Davi in the studio with Bernie and Sid. Listen, speaking of New York, and by the way, that picture of Frank Sinatra looks just like Ronan Farrow. I must, as an aside. But listen, you were telling us about your cab ride over here.
Yes.
Asking the guys about de Blasio. Tell us what they said to you.
Just out of curiosity, I said to these guys, I go, what do you think of... what do you think of Bill de Blasio as we're driving? What's your name? Hussein. Where are you from? Bangladesh. Oh, Bangladesh. I sang at the United Nations for the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, and he didn't have... He goes, oh. I go, what do you think of de Blasio? He goes, I hate him. I go, really? I go, why do you hate him? He goes, I hate him. He says, because de Blasio is no good for New York. He goes, I drive this car. He says he made street, 4 lanes. It's now 1 lane.
He's right.
He goes, 2 lanes he made, and then 1 lane is parking all day long. He says, it takes, now you drive. It costs double me to come this way, and I get less money, less tip. I hate de Blasio.
Yes.
The whole city, he's screwing it up.
That's just one aspect.
And then the next guy, this morning, on the way here, the cab driver, what do you think of Bill de Blasio? I hate Bill de Blasio.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Dominican Republic.
Doesn't matter. Right.
Doesn't matter where they're from.
By the way, the governor is not all that popular either, despite Mario Cuomo being a great man.
The only thing I've heard about the governor recently, because it's a thing close to my heart, is the Columbus statue that he said is a national.
Mother Cabrini.
Well,
he took
also,
our,
Mother Cabrini, where with Chaz and I talking about Mother Cabrini.
Yeah, well, we got that done. Bernie and I got that done.
Thank you guys, because that was a big atrocity. Huge. See, Sinatra would do stuff like that.
Yes.
He was the first guy to come out, even when he was not a big name, against anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
He had a huge love for Israel. I don't know if you know that. He donated to Israel till he died. He made sure. I think even in the will, there's something that was supposed to go to some of the intelligence agencies.
Yeah.
He was so
pro-Israel.
Pro-Israel.
And by the way, not just pro-Israel, but he's hanging out with Sammy Davis Jr. when the President of the United States, Kennedy, is going, what are you doing with the movie? What are you doing over there?
No, Kennedy didn't want him there.
Yeah,
Kennedy didn't want him at this thing. Sinatra wouldn't play at a club if a black artist wasn't allowed to play.
See that?
Yep.
That's Sinatra. All right? And his mother, Dolly, you got to realize, from Hoboken, New Jersey, his mother, Dolly, spoke several Italian dialects, Italian immigrant. And she ran about 5 precincts, Democratic precincts. He came from a Democratic family, because back then, Democrats were a little different.
Of course.
He was a Roosevelt Kennedy Democrat. Then he made the transition to, of course, Nixon, and then to Bush, to Reagan and to Bush.
Right.
And but his love for Israel was always. I remember the House I Live In was written. He won a special Oscar in 1946. And I sing this song in my show. If you come January 25th at Birdland, The House I Live In, and it's about the anti-Semitism that was rampant at the time. And he did this in terms of beautiful song. I don't know if you know it at all.
I don't.
Do not. But look, I tell you what, January 25th at Birdland. We look forward to hearing it.
Yes.
I got to tell you.
You got to come. You got to come.
We're going to be there. We'll be there.
We are out of time, Robert Davi, but it's great to meet you and have you in studio. You're incredible.
You guys are great.
Interesting guy.
Thank you.
You guys are a lot of fun.
You are so talented. Not forget the acting, but the singing.
Everything.
I mean, you're an opera singer as well.
Yes, I studied opera in Florence with Tito Gobi and
by
studied
the way,
with Dan Farrell.
Robert is a native New Yorker, Astoria first, then Dix Hills, Long Island. So he's one of us, folks. Robert Davi, we love you. Thank you.
We love you.
God bless all of you. God bless you.
Nice meeting you, Sid.
Great
to meet
Bernie,
you, buddy.
Rabbi Heshi, God bless you. His event
Nobody
is in a couple of weeks.
We'll be there next Wednesday night.
Next Wednesday night.
Davi, everybody.